D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Did enjoy the episode. I have a lot of questions and I'm going to mention those in this video, but I just want to say one question that I had was, how did this thing spread so fast? Like, I don't understand how it spread so fast. And one of you had said something, one of you had commented in my last video that it had spread because it got into the grain and everything. And that's how it spread so fast around the world. And then they answered that question in this episode, they're in Indonesia. I can't remember what city this is. I can't remember what city it is, but it gets into like a grain factory or whatever. We'll talk about that in my night break this sucker down. And I was like, okay, so I will have questions in this video, and I feel like they're going to answer those questions as we go along. So, because I have questions about this fungus, and I wish that they would answer it, the science portion of the program, just a little bit more, but maybe they will. I don't know. And also, I wanted to say I was going to watch the cutscenes of the video game because I've never played the video game. I know very little about this game and the storyline. But I was going to watch the cutscenes, and I got to the part where Sarah dies in the game of the cutscene movie, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just not watch the cutscenes. Just come at this fresh and new. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who dies. I don't know who's a character from the game and who's not a character from the game. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to come at it like that because I feel like for me personally, it's better that way, because if I watch the game and then this show's not as good as the game or vice versa, then I'm going to be annoyed and I'll just, crap all over it. And I don't want to do that because that's not my goal when it comes to shows. It's like, if you write a good show, I'll like it. But if you write a crappy show, I'm sorry. I mean, you get what you put in, and if you put in, not that much work, then I'm going to crap all over your show. So hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. I need coffee like constantly. But overall, this episode I felt was better than the first episode. It had like a good little action thing towards the end. And I think that the acting is good. One thing did happen that I was kind of bummed about, and I think you know what it is. It's with Val. But we're gonna get into this episode. And I just want to talk about some stuff that I really liked. I hope I won't take up too much of your time. I'm gonna try to get through this episode as fast as possible because I know some of you don't like me breaking it down because you're like, I've already watched the episode. I know what happens, but I like to break it down because it helps me like think and remember what happened in the episode. If this is something you don't like, then I'm sorry about that. It's just, I do have to think about myself a little bit, But before I get started on this breakdown, you guys, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to the channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we are just getting shoved to the back of the line more and more, you guys. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, so I got the business portion out of the way. I'm going to get started on this breakdown, you guys. So it starts in Indonesia, like I said before, and I what's the name? Something Karta. Is that the name of the city? Karta? Is that I don't know. I'm pretty good with geography, but not with cities. Like if you ask me where a country was, I'm pretty good with it. Oh, here we go. It's Jakarta. Yay. Huh. Okay. Huh. Matthew, you little moron. Okay. So not you, me. I wasn't talking to you. Okay. So it's in this city, and this woman is eating at a restaurant, and the army comes in and they find her and they pick her up and they take her, and she's like, have I broken the law? And they're like, no, you have not. And she's like, well, then why are you taking me? And they're like, she is some kind of professor of, botany. I'll say botany if she is or whatnot. And he's like, we need your expertise. And so they bring her in, and they're like, this woman's all like, look, and she's all like, we did this. He's like, do not tell her. Don't tell her anything. Let her look for herself. And I like that when people I like that to do that with people in my own life, because for instance, like if I have a TV show, then I'm for instance, when me and my wife watched this episode, I ask, because I already made up my mind about how I feel about it, but I ask her how she feels about it. And then because I don't want to influence her thoughts about it. I want her to tell me, because that's what I tell her all the time. I was like, I already know what I think about it. What did you think about it? I don't want to tell you first because I don't want to influence how you experienced it. And then she thought this episode was okay. She was like, I liked it, or whatever. Yeah, she's adorable. I love my wife. Okay. So he's like, don't tell her anything. Don't tell her anything so she can do it. So then she looks into it and she's like, why did you something like, why did you do this, and this? And they're like, we didn't. She's like, well, this is from a human sample. And she's like, that's impossible. Fungus can't live inside humans. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember all the sciencey words all the biology words they use. Okay. And she's all like, where did you get this from? And they put her in this room where she has this little hazmat suit. And he's like, if you're feeling sick, just get out of the room. And I'm all like, yeah, I'm gonna have to, you guys. Okay, so she goes up to this dead body. I'm gonna have to, if you're watching, I took some stuff out. Sorry, you guys, I can't be having nudity in this video. YouTube is really cracking down, and I don't need that nonsense. She goes to the foot where there's this bite mark, and she cuts it open, and there's like this fungus. And I'm just saying, I'm getting this makes me itch. I don't like stuff like I need to get past this. I can't look at it. There we go. So then she's like freaking. No, we have to go back to it. I'm sorry, I have to show it. So she as soon as she cuts this open, because she's like, this was from a human, and he's like, yeah, it's from a human. So when she cuts it open, this is like right away inside the body. Oh my gosh, this is making me itch. I'm sorry, you guys. Like when we get to the clackers, the clickers. Sorry, I called them clackers before, and people are like, they're called clickers. Calm down, sister. So she opens it up, and there was the fungus right there, and me right away, I was just like, ooh, and everything, and she freaks out a little bit. So then she goes over to the mouth of the lady and she opens it up and she puts the little tongs in there. They're not tongs, but whatever, you know what I'm talking about. And she pulls out the little tendrils, and the tendrils. Oh, I messed up. Hold on. Let me get back here. I don't want to. There we go. And the little tendrils that she pulls on the thing, they move towards her. And so she freaks out and drops it, because then these things start moving inside this woman's mouth. And so she freaks out and she leaves the room. So she's sitting here, and this guy comes in. By the way, this woman right here, the actress, very good actress. I give her praise and everything for this. She has this small part, but she did very, very good. I'll be a little faster with my explanation. So she's all like, what happened? And he's like, this happened in a flour and grain factory. And he's all like, they don't know who patient 0 is, but 4 people were bitten. And I think he said 3 of them they had taken down, that woman that she examined included. And then he's all like, one of them is unaccounted for, and 14, I think they said 14 of the people working at the factory they can't find. So he's like, we need to get a cure or a vaccine. And he's like, can you help us out with that? And she's, and her hands are shaking, and I'm all like, ooh, this woman is a good actress. Like, because I felt it, like I was all like, oh crap. Because then she's like, there is no cure. There is no vaccine. And he's all like, what do you suggest? And she's like, a bomb. Start bombing this city, and everyone in it. And she's all like, and then she's crying because she goes, I would like to go home now and be with my family, because hold on, I want to get that, because she knows that she has to be one of them, that she has to be in the city when they start bombing. And I was like, man, the self-sacrifice, and she knows her family. She has to sacrifice her family, because this is good. If this spreads, it's bad. It's really, really bad. And I was like, man, the self-sacrifice, I don't know if I could do it, you guys. I don't know if I could do it. Like, I love my kids and my wife, and I don't know, man. Like, I always said that if a zombie apocalypse happens, I'm just going to, take my family out and then myself, because, I don't want to go through that. But I don't think I could do it. Like, my kids are so precious, and my wife, she's so great. I'm like, no, I'd want to survive. I like living, you know? So this woman to just be like, you need to take me home and then you need to start bombing. I was like, man, that's a strong-willed individual right there. And then we get the credits. Okay, so this one wakes up, Ellie, and she's in there and they're just like looking at her like, hey, freak, you've got the disease in you. We saw it. Don't try to play games with us, little girl. And so, hold on, I just need to lubricate. I'm sorry, you guys. I just need some libation and the caffeine. It keeps me going. It gets me pumped. So then they're all like, show us. And she shows them the thing, her arm, and she's got the disease inside of her. And she's all, you know, not, but she hasn't Zorgified and everything. And they're like, how did you do this? And she's like, I don't know, but they've been, you know, like checking me out every day. And they're like, how are they testing you every day? And she's like, they make me count to 10, make me hold my hand out. And the fact that I haven't turned into a freak, is probably the number one thing that I'm A-okay. So then they're like, this is the cure. This is the thing. And they're like, what did they want you to take? And she's all like, they told me not to tell anybody. And the first people I come across, I'm going to tell. She's like, you're taking me to a sciencey lab so they can figure out the cure because I'm immune or something like that. I can't remember the exact thing. Yeah, something tells me that the sciencey lab is going to be like a no-go. Like maybe the people aren't there anymore, or I feel like the end of this, something's going to happen with the little lab because, you know, that's like the end game, the end result. You trying to get to this lab so they can get the cure. And I'm all like, they're going to get there and they're going to be all like all dead or something. I don't know. We'll see. So she goes to the bathroom and they're all like, what's going on? Oh, and because remember last episode, he beat that soldier to death, I think. Maybe, I don't know. But he has a hairline fracture in his hand. It's like twitching or whatever. He doesn't have the fungus or whatever. He's just, his hand is not broken, but for hairline fracture. So he's like, it'll heal quickly. But I'm like, not quick enough and everything. So she's like, listen, she's the cure. We need to get her to Dale or somebody. I don't remember who she says. Yeah. So then they're eating and they're eating beef jerky, which by the way, he like tears this apart and it's really hard for him. And I'm all like, why don't you just eat it whole, like with your teeth and everything? Cause me, I'm all like, it's beef jerky. It's not, you know, it's not bark. And they're looking at her sandwich, which her sandwich looks delicious. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that looks tasty. And they're like, is that chicken? And she's like, yeah, they got it from smugglers, probably better smugglers than you. And I was like, hey, don't be rude. Okay. Yeah. So then, this is where she tells them about the cure. And this is where she's like, we need to get them to there or whatnot. We need to get her through. So they go out into the city and the city, she's like, wow. And she's like, yeah, it looks different in the daylight. And it does look different in the daylight. It looks like crap, you know, but hey, 20 years. It's a lot. Look at that. I'm surprised. I'm curious as to when this building is just going to collapse, you know, and then this building is going to go with it. Cause you know, it's like lean on me. And so they're walking. I can't remember what they say here. I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't write down lines and stuff, but right here. So she's like, is this where they bombed? And they're like, yeah. They're like, so you find out that they bombed in a whole bunch of other cities and a whole bunch of other places, but it didn't stop it. Val says it just slowed it down in some places. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's crazy bones, you know, that they couldn't stop it. But that makes sense because, you know, plants these days, like if you go out to your yard, yeah, if I'm mowing my yard, okay, real quick. So my kids have a sandbox, but it's plastic and you can move it. So when I move it out of the yard to mow my lawn, there's a circular spot where the sandbox was, and all the grass has died underneath it. But I'll just move it to a different spot. And as I'm moving it to a different spot, the grass will like grow in that spot. So you can't stop it. You can just slow it down. And that's what I feel. I don't know if that was the best example, but calm down, sister. All right. You come up with a better example and leave it in the comment section if you got one. So they find that they can't go through here. Like this is the short way, but it's not a good way because it's the best way to get got. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to take the long way around. And so, oh, and I found this interesting. Like these tables are still set, and I like how the plants have grown inside the cups and everything. And I'm like, that's interesting. I wonder, like, I mean, it makes sense, what would you need with all this silverware and diningware and stuff in the post-apocalyptic world where a fungus has taken over the planet? So they're walking, and I can't remember what they say here, but they're just talking about stuff. And okay, so then they come across, hold on. They're walking and they come across this part right here, and they're looking over this bridge. Oh, no, man, maybe I'm not getting it. Hold on. So you get all these cars here. I'm trying to remember, man, I can't remember what they say here. It's such a bigger part. So there's the city, and they're screwed. So they get to this hotel, and they go inside, and she's all like, I've never been in a hotel before. And I'm like, what? How have you not been in a hotel? And I'm like, oh, because she's 14, which means she was born after the initial hit and the first 6 years of this, because it's 20 years later. Was it? Yeah, it's 20 years later. So, of course, she's never been in a hotel. I was like, that's interesting. I wonder what that would be like where you're born and you didn't experience things that were just like, for us, for older people, it's just so, it's just the hotels are readily available. She's like, I only read about them in books. I also don't like that they just went into this water. I'm like, can this fungus not travel through the water? Because, he's got that open hand wound. What if he gets his hand in the water and the fungus is in the water and just slides right into his little hand? I'm all like, very irresponsible. And she talks about how she can't swim, but he's all like, it's only knee deep. So then she starts playing around, and she's all like, I'd like to get a room. And he's like, you're a weird kid. And she's like, you're a weird kid. So she moves this, and a skeleton pops out and everything, and nothing big. She gets a little scared, and then they start walking. So they get inside here, and this part is blocked off. So Val is going to climb through here to get up to the roof or whatnot, and they're going to try to get through that way. And she's like, I'm the smallest, I should go. And she's like, you're the most valuable, so I'm going to go. So then they're sitting here chit-chatting and everything. I can't remember what they talk about again, you guys. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sure this was very like, I do feel like this is reminding him of his daughter, Sarah, which I do miss, because I really liked that actress, that Nico Parker. I really did like her in that first episode. She's really good. I can't wait to see her in other things. So she gets her, and she's all like, hey, so they go out here, and this is where they look over the city, and we see these clickers. Sorry, you guys. I'm going to keep going clackers. But so they're sitting here, and they talk about how the vines and the vines of the fungus are not just above the ground. They're also underneath the ground. And if you step on one vine in one part of the city, the fungus will wake up a hive of clickers and send them right to you. So you need to watch where you step. And it talks about how people that are looking for that quarantine zone, the QZ, how they'll come through here and they'll make the mistake, and they'll get got by the clickers because they are just walking nonchalant, like maybe like that little boy in episode 1, So yeah. Okay. So then, and they're all writhing around and stuff, and I'm like, ew. So, yeah. Like, and they're all, yeah, they're just all like, and everything. So I'm all like, excuse me. Fungus is gross. I do not like fungus or mold and all that stuff. It's just gross. I don't care for it. So they go to this little museum. Now, this part was, in my opinion, and the end is the most exciting portion of the program. So they walk in here. Up to this part, it's like, it's okay, but it's not my favorite. You get what I'm saying? Like, and again, I don't hate this show. It's just sometimes I'm just like, can you guys like move it along a little bit? I need you to move it along a little bit. So they go inside. Oh, and this is covered. This is the difference between like plants and the fungus, because you see these little patties here. Oh, it's making me itch. And when we get to the clickers, it's gonna get gross too. It makes me itch. hold on. So he steps on this right here because it looks all dried and gross. And he's all like, okay, it's dead right here. This part's dead. So we can go in. Let's go in. So he's like, oh, did they give you a flashlight too? So she gets a flashlight and they go in and they're walking around and it's a history museum of some sort. It's very cool. And they're seeing all this stuff. Oh, and they come across a dude and this is a fresh kill. And they're all like, maybe he died on the street and then he walked into here. And I'm all like, yeah, but what if he's like got the fungus in him and he like wakes up soon? Oh, that's what they talked about earlier when they're in the hallway. When they're in the hallway, they talk about like some of the zombified can live for, some of them only live for like 24 hours. And then some of them can live for years, like 20 years. And I'm all like, that's interesting. Cause I'm like, what is it that keeps somebody alive for 20 years? Like, what is it DNA? Is it something in that one specific person that would keep your body and the fungus inside your body alive for 20 years as compared to someone else who only stays alive for 24 hours as a zombie and then they die? It's very interesting. I hope they go into that a little bit more because it's very interesting. So then they go up the stairs and they're walking around. And then as they're sitting here, hold on, let me get to it. You hear like oh yeah, oh, this crumbles down and everything. It falls off and everything. And then you hear like, kind of thing. I don't know if I'm doing it right. Like, everything. So they're like, hey, you guys, we need to be quiet. And a clicker is walking in. I'm not getting a good shot of it. So they're hiding from it. Now they're being really quiet because he's all like, they can't see anything. They can only hear. And I think they do that sonic blasting thing, not blasting, where the echolocation. I think they do that. That's why they click, but they don't explain that. He just says they can't see, they can only hear. So that's what I'm going with. But I think that clicking is because of the sonic location thing. So then they're sitting here and they're being quiet. And then, hold on. Oh, there's one of them. Oh, he scares me. They make me itch. Oh, and so they're running. I can't really do it justice because this is like action, but there's two clickers in here and they're fighting them off and everything, and they get separated. So then he's trying to reload his gun, and the clicker is coming along, and he's all like, he passes them because again, they can't see. So it's right there. Oh, that makes me itch. I can't spend too much time on them. And so as he's going along, she's hiding or whatnot. They're hiding and stuff. And then he steps on some glass and that sets the clicker off and it jumps on her. Oh, it's making me itch. So they end up shooting that clicker and the other clicker because the clicker comes along and boom, 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 bang, 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 bang. And so she gets a little bite, but doesn't matter. She's immune. She's all good to go. So then she's all like, yeah, I sprained my ankle. I'm good to go. I'm fine. I'm fine. So they get out to the roof and they bandage her up and she just walks across the roof and everything. Good to go. And then he walks across and then they're sitting here chit-chatting. And they're like, she's like, hey, we need to get going before dark. So they're and this is why I think he's thinking of reminds him of her daughter, because I think he's looking at his watch right here, which I thought was like, oh, that's touching, but at the same time I don't know, I can't tell. I said Pedro Pascal didn't do a great job last episode, but I take it back. He's doing a good job. I enjoy all three of these actors in this episode. I thought they did a good job. So they get to this place. It's like the Capitol building of Boston and everything. I don't know if this is architecturally accurate, but if it is, yay. If not, oh well. And I don't know how accurate to the game. Like, do they go here in the game? I don't know, but it's fine. It's fine for me personally, because I never played the game. So this is the truck that the people that they're rendezvousing with to take Ellie to, what's it called? The West. They just say West. And so he goes up there and he's checking some stuff out, watching his steps. No one's in there, but there's blood. And I was like, oh, somebody got taken down. And so he finds this body, and then there's blood. So they went inside. So they go inside, and everybody's dead. They're all dead. And then they're like, one person got infected. And then it was just like basically like bang, bang, bang for everybody. And I'm all like, man, that sucks. And so, so then she's all like, she reveals, he's like, where'd you get bit? And she shows him, hold on, that she got bit in the shoulder. And so she does not have long, because I look back and it's if you get bit on the shoulder or the face or the head, you only have, I think it said something like a couple of hours. And then, but if you like, and if you get bit on the leg or the ankle or whatever, you have like around 24 hours. And then if you get bit in the torso, it's like in between that time. I can't remember. So she does not have long. So she's all like, you need to get her out. And she's like, look, she's like, she's already healed. She is the cure to this. She is the way we get out of this. You need to get her west right now. And I have to admit, I'm really bummed that Val died. I don't know if Val is in the game because I never played it, but I liked this character and I like this actress a lot. I really like her. She's in what's that Netflix show? Oh goodness, about the FBI it doesn't matter anyways. Like the Criminal Minds people, but it's not Criminal Minds because it's a different show. Anyways. Sorry. So she's all like, we don't have very much time. And so this little, hold on. I tried to get the hand there. I almost had it. Okay. So this guy wakes up, this guy, and he's, this guy right here, he's zombified. And then Joel shoots him. And then the little tendrils come out. Hold on. Let me play for like 2 seconds. I'm going to get in trouble. So they start moving. And that's where the rest of the horde wake up, because as soon as that happens, we flash forward over to see, there they are. These little tendrils, they wake up because there's some of the fungi. And so it sends it to around to the other part of the city, right? So the fungus wakes up the horde that we saw before, right? And so this one wakes up. Oh, that's so gross. And so the rest of them wake up and they're all like, and everything running across the city. And he's like, we probably have like a minute. And she's like, you need to get out of here. I will hold them off as best I can. She starts knocking over canisters of gasoline, and she knocks over some grenades. And I feel bad for her, really bad. And she's like, you need to get her, where she needs to go, kind of thing. And I'll do what I can. And they didn't get to kiss, but I mean, like, I wouldn't have kissed her either, because, they come out of the mouth or whatever. So I'm pretty sure. And her hand starts to like move like this. So she's like, go. She's basically like, I'm already dead. I'm going to take out as many as I can and give you as much time as I can. Go now, kind of thing. So she's sitting here, and they're knocking at the door, and she's trying to light her lighter, and they're running in, and they're not seeing her, they're not paying attention, and she's doing it. And then the one of them stops because it still has eyes, and it sees her, and she's freaking out. Now I'd be freaking out too, but she's got to do what she's got to do, kind of thing. And it walks up to her real slow. Oh my goodness, that's making me itch. So I don't want to watch this. I don't want to look at this anymore. And the little tendrils come out, and he's going to kiss her, like the kiss of death. And she's freaking out, but she's still trying to light her lighter. It's like, it's so, and I'm all like, honey, you should have refilled that before you left. You always need a good lighter, but it can't work. Your Zippo can't work if it's empty. And finally, she's getting kissed by the tendrils or whatnot, the kiss of death. And she looks down at her lighter, and it finally goes, and then it happens. And then boom, this explodes. And some of them are running out because you can see it, and he's like preparing himself, but I'm pretty sure none of those zombies made it. And then he's like, okay, come on, let's go. And then they leave. And that's the end of the episode. I can't remember if she says anything here. I don't think she does. And then that's the end of the episode, you guys. That's where it ends. And I have to just say right now, I did not hate this episode. I mean, I didn't like I'm not like all like, oh my God, that was the best episode ever. but it wasn't to the point where I was annoyed. Like I was like, I'm entertained, I'm curious, I want to know what happens, next. I want them to answer my questions that I have. The acting is good. I think that everybody did a good job. I'm bummed that Val died. And tell me, is she in the game, that Val character? Because I'm finding it, I don't want to look stuff up, but at the same time, I do want to look stuff up because I'm like, but I'm afraid that I'll learn something and then I'll be, annoyed because I'm trying to go in this fresh to try to be all like, the perspective of somebody that hasn't played the video game. Because I watched, like I said, I watched the first portion of the cutscenes up to where the daughter Sarah gets, killed in the first episode, and they did a pretty good job in terms of, although the game started it right out where he comes home, like there's the whole thing with the neighbor doesn't happen, that old lady, and she doesn't go to the watch shop and everything. It's just, she wakes up and Joel comes home with the brother Tommy, and then that's where the fun begins. But and I'm curious to know what stuff have they added that wasn't in the game. Like, was that thing with the Indonesian woman, was that in the game, or did they just explain it through commentary throughout the game or whatnot? But again, I'm going to keep with the show because I don't think it's terrible. I want more action, to be honest with you. I would really appreciate some more action, like some more clickers. I'm going to write it down and stick it on my computer that they're clickers, but I would like some more clicker action, to be honest with you. But other than that, this was a pretty decent episode. I'm going forward. I'm not excited about this show, but I'm definitely not like, oh, this show sucks. I'm only hate watching it now. All right, you guys, that is my breakdown and review of this episode. Tell me, what did you guys think about this episode of The Last of Us? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you ready for next week? How does it compare to the video game? If you played the video game, did you play the video game, or are you like me and you're coming to this fresh and new? And then, how do you feel about the acting? Who's your favorite character so far? Tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on my Last of Us breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.